Hi friends, I'm Gio, and welcome to my channel. Let's begin. The therapist sat at the head of the circle. It was the first meeting of our group therapy session, and it was held in the Student Services Building conference room, just down from her office. It was early dusk, winter semester, at the university. Outside it was cloudy and dark, a perfect February evening. There were 6 of us arranged around her. I sat directly opposite her. I was nervous, but I tried not to be jittery. I didn't have to worry about sweat stains, because I don't sweat. I'm not normal. I lowered my hood to better look at the people around me. The room smelled of old cologne and old perfume. One guy's breath smelled of cheap, overcooked hamburgers. Other people couldn't smell it, but I sure did. I'm not normal. Look how pale he is. It's like he avoids sunlight. A girl sitting next to the therapist whispered, referring to me. Blame it on the SPF 100. I have a skin condition and burn easy, I whispered. I never yell or make a scene. I always whisper. I hate having people notice me. She stared at me. You heard me? I had to come up with an answer, and I let my sarcasm out. I have sensitive ears, I whispered. Are you an albino? Somebody else asked. He can't be. He has black hair and black eyes, a guy said. He'd be about my age, but he looked normal. His glasses suggested he had a brain, and his casually unshaven cheeks suggested a more laid-back kind of person. His heart was calm, but it beat strong. His skin smelled of some kind of aloe soap. His hair smelled of something spicy and natural. His shirt was a green plaid, because it was cool this time of year, and his hair was a carefree brown curly mop. He had dark Mediterranean sexy eyes, and I had trouble paying attention to anything but him. The heavy backpack next to him suggested he took his studies seriously. The scent of old paper and older wood suggested a piano. Was he a music major? Would he mind going for a walk after the meeting? No, I'm not an albino. It's just the way I am, I whispered. Well, I think it's a good look on you. Kind of spooky, Halloweeny, brooding and moody. I bet you're every girl's naughty wish, the girl said, smiling as she flirted. I'm gay, I whispered. The guy with the glasses smiled a little and said, every guy's deepest, darkest fantasy. I like the way you look. Yeah, I want you to meet my boyfriend so he can copy your look, the girl said. The therapist interrupted us and nodded at me. Fraser, why don't you start? Tell us about yourself and what are your goals for our sessions here, she said. I'm Fraser, I'm 22, and I'm only a freshman. I started late because I had an accident the year after high school and didn't leave the house for 13 months. My friend Toby suggested this might help. What kind of an accident? The girl asked. I tried to break up a fight but got attacked instead. I lost a lot of blood and died. They revived me, obviously, and gave me a gallon of blood. Haven't been the same since, I said, pushing my dark hair back. I have black hair and used to have blue eyes, but those turned black right after the attack. Died? The counselor asked. Her eyes opened a little wider. I was clinically dead for 90 seconds. How did it happen? I was at a nice restaurant for my 19th birthday. Went outside to get some air and saw a fight. I should never have stepped in. Life is weird, I whispered. I don't get out much, and since most people are uncomfortable around me, I don't date or socialize. That's why I'm here. Learn how to get to know people, I said. I think talking about that night could be very healing for you and would provide an interesting set of experiences we could explore. Welcome to the group, Fraser. This is a safe place to share. There are some drinks and snacks on the table, so feel free to help yourself, and that goes for everyone, the counselor said. Thank you. I ate earlier, I said. Good thing, because the guy with glasses was making me thirsty. I'm dangerous when I'm thirsty. BT, why don't you go next? The therapist said. BT, the guy with the glasses. BT was looking at me now. His heart had quickened a little, beating a little faster than the others. His face seemed to empathize with me. I can't live up to my family expectations because they don't want a gay son. The rest of the hour were introductions, mostly, and the therapist gave us some homework. Write up a brief summary of what we want to accomplish. Once the session was over, The counselor called me over while the others left. Damn, my chance to talk to BT was gone. I'd have to wait for our next session on Thursday, in 2 days. While I sat at the bus stop for the late-night bus, Dad called. "Fraser, did you forget Adam's wedding is Sunday? You never RSVP'd. Haven't attended any wedding function or planning, not even the bachelor party." "I've been busy," I whispered. "The ceremony is at 1, followed by the reception. It's supposed to be warmer, so we might even be outside," Dad said. "You are coming, even if we have to drag you," Mom said. I thought about lying, but then when I didn't show, my family wouldn't let me hear the end of it. Best to decline now. "I'm sorry, I can't come." "What? Why?" Dad asked. "It's outside. I'll burn," I said. "Nonsense. It's just a little sun, and we won't take no for an answer. This is a big day for your brother," Mom whined in the background. "Whatever. I'm sorry, but I can't," I said. I had never told them the full extent of what had happened. I had never told anyone. They knew that I had died in the accident. They don't know how strange it got. They wouldn't believe me. I can't sleep because of the nightmares. My mom yelled, "Fraser Malcolm Guinness, you will be there at 1 and stop making excuses. Do you know how much you hurt your brother when you declined to be his best man or even groomsman? You haven't even met his fiancée or her family. You haven't been to any wedding event. You're his brother and you haven't helped at all with the wedding. You will be there on time, or I will personally come over to your apartment and haul you out of bed and force you to be part of this family." "Mom, Adam never asked me to be a groomsman. I'm sorry, I can't come. I will be getting off an 11-hour shift and I need sleep if you want me to act remotely human," I said. The sky grew cloudier and a little windier. Mom was stressing me. "Don't make demands to me. Damn it, you are the most exasperating son. Why can't you be more like your brother? He listens to me. He has a great salary. He earns 6 figures a year. He has a master's. His fiancée is gorgeous. He is not the family disappointment. You will come to the wedding because I say so," Mom yelled. I leaned over the curb to see if the bus was coming. It was about 3 blocks away. Smooth, Mom, and insulting. "No, I won't come. I am sleeping." "That is the most stupidest excuse. You will stop hiding in your apartment. You will be there exactly at 1, Mom said. "No," I whispered. "For the love of God, why don't you like your brother?" Dad said. "You two are crazy. Fine, I'll come to the stupid wedding and you can watch me burn. I'll need a ride because Sunday bus service is limited and I have no idea where they are getting married," I whispered. "Where's your car?" Dad said. "I sold it," I whispered. "My useless son doesn't even have a car. Do you know how rich those people are? Do you know how much money Adam is marrying into? How could I have raised such a lazy brat? Your dad will be there at 12:30, Mom screeched. "Bring a blanket," I said. I closed the call and ignored my phone when they called back. I used to drive, but I get distracted too easy these days. I'm aware of everything, and I need to be able to move around the vehicle to avoid the sun. When you're driving, you're trapped in one place. Told you I wasn't normal. The bus finally arrived, and I was about to be late for work. I work as a night watchman for the Fancy Furniture Warehouse, owned by Felicia Fancy. It's a great job, pays well, I get benefits, and because I never tire, at least at night, I get a lot of work done. Yeah, I have super endurance. I'd impress a boyfriend if I didn't creep them out. When I got to work, I changed into my uniform and began my rounds. I had calmed down a little, and the clouds had faded away. A slow night. I helped with loading some of the trucks. Scrawny me doesn't look it, but ever since the accident, I'm stronger than I used to be. A lot stronger. And I see in the dark. Told you I'm not normal. I'm weird. There's a couple other things, too. Don't annoy me. Bad things happen. I got off work at 6 in the morning, kept my hoodie up as I rode the bus to my 3rd-floor apartment. It took about 40 minutes to get to the older part of Vegas. The sun wasn't up when I got home, but somebody was, and he sat on the stairs right next to my apartment. His name is Adam Guinness, my older brother. Blonde, Blue eyes like Mom's, like mine used to be, and tan. He's also taller than me, more muscular than me, richer than me, better looking than me. Mom and Dad liked him better than me. Adam was dressed in slacks and a nice shirt. I bet his jacket and tie are in the car. Adam has a graduate degree in finance and is a stockbroker. He makes tons of money. Mom and Dad paid for his degree. Adam is going somewhere. So am I, except I haven't figured out where. I checked the parking lot. Yep, Adam's brand new skyscraper gray 530i BMW sedan took up 2 spots. Is he crazy? He brought that car to this neighborhood. He's going to get keyed if he's not careful. Right before dawn is the worst time for me. The exhaustion hits all at once, and if I haven't drunk for a while, so is the thirst. Adam better not look in the fridge. He'll see my blood packs. Warm an O positive up in the microwave, and it's the best thing. It's almost as good as fresh. Right after the accident, I drank 2 packs a day. Expensive. Now it's only 1 a day. The exhaustion hit bad today. I'll pass out if I fall into bed. I trudged up the stairs, pulling my keys out, and said, "Long time. What's it been, 6 months? What are you doing here?" Dad's idea. Mom's too. They made a fuss. They want you there this Sunday, he said. Why? So they can guilt me? I said, opening the door. I leave food and water out for the neighborhood strays. Why? Because I'm kind of one too. The bowls were empty. Right in the middle of my door is a sign. Do not disturb. Day sleeper. I unlocked the 5 deadbolts on my door and let us into my 1-bedroom bat cave. It's dark, as in pitch black, for everybody but me. I've tin-foiled the windows. No outside light gets in here. All I want to do is drink and collapse. Adam, now is not a good time. I grabbed a giant bag of cat food, walked to the food dishes, and refilled them. Then did the same with the water bowls. Adam watched me for a second, then checked something on his phone. Why isn't it a good time? Think for a moment, Adam. College last night, then a full-time job. I'm exhausted, I said, closing the door behind us. Adam switched on the lights. His eyes squinted at the sudden brightness. Mine adjusted in microseconds. I pulled my hoodie over my head, standing in my old and stained wife-beater. Yep, my skin was almost whiter than my shirt was, and translucent. Look at all my pretty veins. Adam gawked at me. I'm sure he felt superior. Then looked at my apartment. Where's all your stuff, freak? My place was bare. Sold it. College isn't cheap. I lied with a half-truth. The real reason? I couldn't let anything tie me down if I had to get out of here in a hurry. I fixed my eyes on my brother and gave him the stare. I don't blink, and it freaks people out. Adam looked away. I'll cut to the point. I don't care what Mom and Dad say. Look at you, the poster boy for a homeless sheik. Don't come to my wedding. You look like garbage. Did you escape from a cancer ward and stole clothes from their dumpster as you left? You're creepy. Stay away. You embarrass me. Always direct. Why don't you like me? I whispered. Adam looked down at me and said, I have money, and my fiancée, Tiffany, comes from a loaded family, the Tuttles. Maybe you've heard of them, one of Vegas's wealthiest families. They expect a certain level of class. Look at you, a creep show that's one step above the gutters. You'd scare Tiffany and her rich family away. If you come, goodbye money, so you're not invited, Adam said. Mom and Dad want me there, so convince them, I whispered. The sun must have come up because it was so hard to stay awake. They don't have a say in it, he said. Dad's picking me up. I started to whisper, but Adam stopped me. I don't care. You will not be there. You are the family embarrassment. Better you had stayed dead, Adam said. You always were a jerk. Don't worry. Why would I come to your stupid party? I don't look good in a tux anyway. Close the door on your way out. I'm going to sleep, I whispered. That's one problem solved. I locked the 5 locks and headed to my sanctuary. I didn't use regular lights, but the sparkle of blinking Christmas lights and the ambience of an old fake Tiffany lamp I found at the thrift store, and some posters of beaches I could never go to, made the room seem warm and comfortable. I stripped and was out the moment I fell on my mattress. I dreamed. I stepped into the fight between two men. One man had pale skin and dark hair and fangs. The man with razor fangs bit me again and again and again, draining me, feasting on my neck. The pain flooded every nerve in my body. His eyes were blood red, his teeth blood red with my blood, and he snarled like something out of the movies. My blood dripped from his chin. I screamed, only to fall out of bed, shaking. Sitting on the edge of my bed, I held my head in my hands. The dream came every night, over and over again. I don't want to sleep anymore. My phone had 12 messages on it from my parents, and a couple dozen texts. It all basically said the same thing. 12:30, Sunday. Wear something formal. Like that's going to happen. I have long-sleeved, thick fabric, everything, including my hoodies. I'll wash my jeans and hoodie just for them. I left for my night classes, responding to their text as I left. Thursday. Back at the group session. My parents demand I go to my brother's wedding, even though it's outside in the daylight and my brother doesn't want me there. I'm too poor and look so weird that I embarrass him. He's rich and he's afraid I'll scare off his new rich in-laws, I said. Duh, haven't they heard of a poor, starving college student? The girl, who I knew as Lori, said. My family is the same way. I'm gay, but they don't want anybody to know, especially my grandparents. Mom and Dad think that if they find out, they'll lose Grandpa's inheritance, BT said. Is it much money? Lori said. Grandpa's a shareholder for the Bernini Casino. It's much, BT said. So the choice is simple. Be who they want me to be and they gain lots of money, or be me and have everybody mad at me. The price of independence, our therapist said. Everybody has to decide. Do they sacrifice their identity to please others, or be themselves? Sometimes it takes a lot of courage to stand up for yourself. Lori sighed. Her face reddened a little. All my folks do is talk, talk, talk. Why do our parents think they know what's best? Mom can't even make her phone work right, and Dad texts like a 5-year-old. But they think they can boss me around. After therapy, I followed BT and hesitated a second before asking, I don't have a lot of time, so can I buy you a drink from the vending machine? Maybe arrange a time to get together, like a date? BT frowned and didn't look at me. I'd like to, but I can't until next week. You're not the only one with family wedding issues. My sis is getting married, and her fiancé are driving us all crazy getting prepared for it. Get this, I'm expected to do the music, and I've been practicing for the last month. Are you in a band? I whispered. I wish. Mom made me take piano lessons when I was 5, but I've been studying music seriously since I started high school. I'm a music major now, write music and practice up to 6 hours a day. I've written an original piece, practice all the songs my sister wants for the wedding, and I work part-time parking cars at Grandpa's casino. My parents expect me to hide who I am. It's simply too much. That's why I'm in group. I can't cope anymore, BT said. Weddings screw everything up. If we get married, let's elope, I whispered. BT chuckled. Maybe we should start smaller. How about that date? I asked. I'd like that. After Sunday, I hope things go back to normal. What if we met for dinner right before group next Tuesday? My treat. I know this really nice place. Maybe you've heard of it? The cafeteria downstairs, he asked. I said yes and was floating. Well, not literally. This was the first date I've had for a long time. I went to my bus. He went to the parking lot. The air whirled playfully around me. Oh crap, regular food makes me sick. Would he mind if I brought a hemoglobin smoothie? Fast forward to Sunday. I was in my usual daytime coma following an 11-hour shift when something pounded on my door. I checked my phone. I'd had 5 hours sleep, and I'd missed a bunch of messages from my parents. And I'm exhausted. I did not feel human. The pounding did not stop. I got annoyed. Fraser, open this door right now. We are going to be late. Was that Mom? Oh crap, the wedding. I unlocked the 5 deadbolt and answered the door in my boxer briefs. Both Mom and Dad stood there, he in his Sunday go-to-church suit and she in a brand new fuchsia dress. The way they stared at me. Had it been 6 months or more since I had seen them? I must look a wreck. "You look nice," I whispered. They barged into my apartment, stumbling in the darkness. Annoyed, my fangs emerged. I forced myself calm. Mom hit the lights and saw me. She yelped before covering her mouth with her hand. "Honey, you haven't been eating, and we need to get some light in here. You're so pale." "No, I'll burn," I whispered. "That's silly," Mom said. "Come with us and let's get you some real food," Dad said. "Go get dressed." "Adam said I wasn't invited. I'm too poor," I whispered. Mom scoffed. "Well, aren't we all? Your dad's right. Let's get you some food and get you around some people. You'll like this family." "I'll stay in the shadows," I whispered. "Give me 10 minutes. Wait in the car, please." I dressed how I normally dressed. Oversized hoodie and jeans, gloves, large dark glasses. I drank an OB positive blood pack before I left. The last thing this party needed was me being thirsty. With all the sunlight, I'd be trapped. I refilled the kitty dishes, locked up, wrapped a blanket around me, and ran for the car. I got inside, into the blessed shade. "Didn't you have anything better to wear? And take the hood off," Mom whined. "No, I'll burn. Look," I whispered. The turn into a fireball reaction is only for movies. The actual process is a lot slower. I took off my right glove and rested my hand in the sun next to my mom. The skin turned pink and began to bubble. The skin peeled away and began to bleed. "Now do you believe?" Mom blocked the sunlight with her arm. "That's not normal. Have you seen a doctor?" "They can't help me," I whispered. I had some cream for emergencies like this, and after I applied a generous amount, I pulled the glove back on. "The news said clear skies today," Dad said. "The clouds were building up." I'm getting annoyed. Don't get me angry. We arrived at the reception hall 10 minutes later. The Silver Dove reception hall and gardens were classically set up for photo shoots and weddings. We arrived at 10 minutes to 1. We weren't the only ones arriving. I guess we were just in time for the social event of the year. God, why did they waste so much money on this stupid party? I bet it cost 10 times more than what I got for my car. "If it's just starting, why come get me?" I whispered. "It's complicated," Dad said. Dad seemed upset. His heart didn't relax. Was he angry? At me? At having to pick me up? We told Adam we wanted our whole family at his wedding, and we wouldn't take no for an answer. Adam uninvited us. He said we embarrass him. "So we're crashing the party as a family," Mom said. "This is your fault, Fraser. Your rebelliousness is rubbing off on your mom," Dad said. His voice seemed lighthearted, but I heard a tenseness in it. I whispered, "You two didn't have to get in trouble because of me, but thanks." "Honey, we're a family. Who else can you trust to get in trouble with you?" Mom said, and took hold of Dad's hand. I pulled the blanket around me and stared at the cloudy sky. Adam wouldn't be happy to see me. Look at me, jeans and a hoodie. Everybody else is wearing suits or expensive dresses, even the kids. I climbed out of the car, clutching the blanket around me. Mom looped her arm in my right, Dad in my left, like they didn't want me to run away, and the three of us hurried into the shade of the reception hall. The wedding wasn't in the reception hall, but outside, in a plaza behind the building. If the sun cleared, it would be in the sun. I'm screwed. Everybody stared at us. Well, me. "I'll find an out-of-the-way place. You two find seats and blend in," I whispered. I watched them take their seats, and something bothered me. Weren't the parents of the groom supposed to walk with the groom down the aisle, or behind the groom, or something? I couldn't blend in. This crowd was too rich, and I was in jeans and a hoodie. Mom and Dad didn't blend in either. Everybody was wearing tuxedos or very expensive evening gowns. They stared at me. That annoyed me. This whole place annoyed me. Adam annoyed me. So many people, so many heartbeats, the sounds of blood pumping through veins, the constant rustle of fabrics, all the chemicals they used to clean this place, so many smells. Every woman wore perfume, every man wore cologne, the bubbling of the champagne, the constant murmur of people talking, and the sun peeking through the clouds. I pulled my hood a little closer, tightened on my gloves, and adjusted my dark glasses. Some waiter walked next to me, carrying a serving tray with several champagne glasses. He offered me one, but I declined. Then he leaned in and in a soft voice asked, Bride or groom's side? Groom's. I'm Fraser, his brother, I whispered. Keep your head down. Bride and groom are in a mood, he said. Why? I whispered. He nodded at my clothes. It's a live-streamed wedding with a staged Instagram flair and has to look perfect. They want to make money off of this and believe they'll get tons of views and likes. No offense, but you don't look like their version of perfect. Be careful. Then moved on to a couple in a tux and silk gown. I had walked into a snob war zone. Taking a deep breath, I followed the crowd toward the outside plaza, where the wedding was to be. I got as far as the door. The place was open to the sky and decorated in shades of lavender and rose with lots of white. On each side of the aisle must be 100 chairs. Off to the side were 2 doves in cages, cooing frantically. The 4-tiered wedding cake reeked of banana and strawberry and was decorated with fresh gardenias. An army of cupcakes sat around it. It must be 50 feet from me, and I could still smell it. A monstrous pile of gifts was just by the door I exited. Elaborate swags of white foliage mixed with floral bouquets of lavender and rose and gardenias were everywhere. Tastefully gaudy, and it stunk. All this perfume was giving me a headache. Mom and Dad had taken seats near the back, and Dad glanced at me. He scowled, but I don't think it was directed at me. Their heartbeats were rapid and tense. They probably realized they didn't belong with these rich snobs any more than me. "Excuse me, sir, can I see your invitation?" A man sneered behind me. He wore a regular black suit with a small gold tag that said security. An earpiece fed him details, and he held out a phone. A security guard. At a wedding. I almost laughed. I guess it makes sense considered she was supposed to be rich. I turned and removed my glasses and whispered, "I didn't bring my invitation because I didn't think I needed to. I'm Fraser Guinness, the groom's younger brother." He nodded at his phone and said, "Definite party crasher. I'll send you his picture for confirmation." Good luck with that. It's one of the reasons I covered all the mirrors in my apartment with paper. I don't photograph. I don't show up in mirrors. He quickly took a picture of me, followed by an odd look about his eyes. He took a second picture and stared at his phone. "I'm not getting a picture, but he says his name is Fraser Guinness," he said into his earpiece. "The only picture we have is a high school yearbook picture. Does he look like that?" the voice said. "Yes and no. Paler skin, longer hair, and black eyes," the guard said. "Fraser Guinness is on the not allowed list," some voice said over the earpiece. "Escort him out." "No, I came to see my brother get married. I'm not leaving," I whispered, stepping back into the shadows. The sky immediately clouded over, and a light wind blew through the decorations. Crap, my fangs began to grow. I'm getting really annoyed. "Do you think it's going to rain? It wasn't supposed to be cloudy today," an older woman said. Something about her seemed familiar. Had I seen her before? "Yes, you are leaving." The guard reached out to grab hold of my arm. I might speak in a whisper, but everybody heard me. This came out more like a growl. "Do not touch me." Thunder rumbled overhead, and the clouds turned dark. The guard spoke into his phone. "Fraser is not leaving. I could use some help." "Don't make this a big deal. I'll stand in the back. I won't even say anything," I whispered, through clenched lips, trying to calm myself. It wasn't working. I kept my mouth closed to hide my fangs. The guard's heart rate increased. I stared him down until he flinched away. "I'm going to see my brother get married." Another guard showed up, also wearing a black suit. His heart rate was fast, too. He smelled of O-positive blood, my favorite, and in spite of the blood pack I drank earlier, I was thirsty. I had to control myself. "Come on, buddy, don't make a scene," he said. My anger erupted. Almost. Thunder rumbled. Lightning flared across the sky. The wind blew in 50-mile-an-hour gusts. The guards took a step towards me. "Stay away." My whisper came out in a growling hiss. The guards paused. My anger was about to... "No, stop it. Don't get angry. I had to stay in control. Calm. Stay calm. God help me, I can't calm down." "Fraser, what are you doing here?" a voice said. "BT?" I whispered. I knew now why that woman looked familiar. She must be BT's grandmother. BT somehow was between the guards and me, a gentle, concerned look about his eyes. He wore a tailored tux with a black bow tie and lavender cummerbund, and shoes that smelled of real leather. He wore a cologne, something expensive, Italian. "Gentlemen, I'll take care of my friend." Behind him was the waiter who had warned me about Adam and Tiffany being in a mood. "Braddock, sir, both Tiffany and Adam have indicated Fraser Guinness and the Guinness family is not allowed at the wedding," the guard said. "I won't let you kick my date out." BT placed an arm around my shoulders and led me down a corridor labeled Groom and to a series of doors. The first one was labeled Groom's Dressing Room. BT opened the second one and ushered me into a dressing room filled with regular clothes. I guess he and the groomsmen shared a room. "Date?" I asked. "Braddock? Your last name is Tuttle? And Tiffany is your sister?" "Braddock Tuttle, at your service, but I hate that name. Only my mom uses it. Just call me BT. And about the date? I'm getting fed up with my family," he said. "So you're not kicking me out?" I asked. "For our first date? Besides, it will give us something to talk about at group," BT said. Some guy peeked into the dressing room and saw us. "BT, you're supposed to be on the piano. Everybody's waiting. Who's this?" BT winked at me and gave me a beautiful smile. "This is my boyfriend. I'd like you to meet Fraser Guinness. Do we still have that tuxedo that Adam whined about?" 15 minutes later, BT and I walked down the aisle, arm in arm, in front of all his relatives. I felt awkward and vulnerable. I didn't have my hoodie to hide in. I was so nervous that the sky remained cloudy. The last time I had worn a tuxedo was back at senior prom. Somehow, BT and his friend transformed me from street grunge to Prince Charming. Even one of the bridesmaids had come in and played with my hair until it became a gleaming black mane that flowed about my shoulders. Oh my God, I looked like that guy on the covers of romance novels. BT led me to the piano, a white baby grand with French provincial legs and Baroque filigree. BT sat down and spread his music out. He had told me that I was the page turner. Whispers spread among the guests. BT's coming out surprised most, but many accepted it. One person did not. She marched up to the piano before BT even started, and in the quietness of the hall, her voice screeched, "Who is this?" BT's heart had gone from relatively calm to sounding like he ran a marathon. BT started to play the background music. "May I present Fraser, Adam's brother, and my boyfriend, Mother. I have a job to do. Please leave." "Nice to meet you, ma'am," I whispered. I didn't like the woman's perfume, and it made me sneeze. "I've told you this before. Do not act gay in front of our family. Braddock Tuttle, do not defy me. Are you trying to steal the spotlight from your sister? Fraser, you were not invited, so you will leave before anybody suspects that my son is gay, and will simply say that this was a joke," BT's mom said. BT stopped playing. "No." "We'll see about that," she said, and left. Watching BT play was a spiritual experience. He put so much energy, so much passion into the piano that watching his hands relaxed me. The clouds lightened, but still blocked the sun. I turned the page of his music. BT noticed my hand. The cream had soothed the burn, but it was an ugly pink, blistered welt. "The sun?" he asked. "I have to cover up," I whispered. His neck was close. His cologne smelled of desire long repressed. His skin smelled faintly of him. The blood pulsed rhythmically in his veins. "Page," he whispered, barely above a breath. I turned the page and he smiled. "Place your hands on mine, like you're playing the song. Feel the music." I did, gently placing my hands on his and feeling the vibrations through his fingers. We connected, intimately, as he played. The music took on a beauty I had never known before now. I moved as he did, felt each note and heard it, experienced it as he played. It was almost like I played. The moment became magic. "I could kiss you," he whispered. "I wouldn't stop you," I whispered back. "It's like your hands move almost before mine do." "How?" BT whispered. I could tell him that my reflexes have improved along with my strength and my senses, but who would understand that? I whispered, "I'm not normal." "Talk to me," he quietly said. Instead, I leaned into him, and we shared a kiss. My fangs hadn't fully retracted, and I nicked his lip. A tiny drop of blood emerged. I licked its delicious fullness, its life. Oh, negative. I backed away. Would I lose control? BT stopped playing and carefully wiped his thumb across the neck. I'm sorry, I whispered. BT smiled, but in a gentle way. Sexy and dangerous. I knew there was something special about you. Let's talk about this a little later, because I want to know everything about you. He kissed me before resuming his song, and I leaned on him, enjoying his warmth, enjoying the safety. For the first time since the accident, I enjoyed life. The wind became calm. So did the clouds. You and clouds? He teased. I can't control it. When I get annoyed or angry, I began, looking away. Good thing I like rain, he whispered. His lips were so close. Tell me what you think of this. Is this the song you wrote? I whispered. He sang, a love song. Something stirred inside me. The vibrations as he played, as he sang, as his beautiful voice filled the air with an amazing sound. Was that a tear running down my cheek? Pure beauty. A feeling I hadn't felt in years. Like life could be good again. Something caught in my throat. Was it wrong to think BT sang it to me? It's beautiful, I whispered, and fell in love with a man I had only met a few days ago. He stopped playing again and wiped the tear from my cheek and gently kissed me. So are you. A new set of heartbeats approached, new smells. Adam, BT's mom, 3 security guards. I tensed. BT felt it. Did I hiss? Adam came too close to me and viciously whispered, Fraser, are you wearing my tux? I told you not to come, and I meant it. You embarrass me and my bride in front of our family. Get out before I have security toss you out. Thunder suddenly rumbled overhead, and the sky was immediately covered in clouds. Not the little puffy white clouds on a calm summer day, but big black thunderheads pregnant with rain and lightning and hailstorm kind of clouds. The kind of clouds seen right before a tornado. The sky turned night, dark. Don't make me angry, I silently pleaded as I clenched my hands into fists. I have to stay calm. If I stayed at the wedding, I'd lose control. So many people, so many smells. Slowly, I stood, willing myself to relax. You have no right to be here. I've seen your apartment. You make, what, $1,000 a month? I make an impressive amount more. I've seen the way you live, and I no longer claim you as brother. You're little more than a body in the gutter. You don't belong with people like us. You are dead to me, and I never want to see you again. Get out, Adam said. BT's mother chimed in, her voice squawking. Braddock Tuttle, you call this pathetic individual a boyfriend? He only wants our money. I will not allow him in our family. Adam told me how poor he is, and his family. Disgusting. Darling Adam had to work himself out of this. I feel for him. Mother, you don't control me anymore, BT said. Don't talk to your mother like that. You have our family name to think of, and we will talk about this later. Fraser Guinness, you will leave and never come back, BT's mother said. BT, how dare you ruin my special day, Tiffany screamed, suddenly running in. Kissing and flirting in front of everyone, with a man. Now the whole family will know you're gay. It's my day. It's about me. Me. Don't you get it? Me. You're making it about you. I demand that this day is perfect, and I don't want you ruining it. Hear that? It's unanimous. Get out, Fraser. I will call the cops in 2 minutes and charge you for trespassing, Adam said. I got angry. The crack of lightning above startled them. The sudden pelt of rain pounded on guests and all their finery, on the cake, on all the decorations, on me, on BT, on the piano, on the song BT had written. Tiffany screamed and ran back inside. My dress is ruined. The guests ran inside. I took a breath and stood, slowly blowing my breath out. I had to regain my calm. I had been happy for a few minutes, felt almost normal. My mistake. I'm not normal. I whispered, I'll change clothes and leave. Enjoy your wedding. What had gone wrong? It felt like somebody had hit me with a chainsaw. It hurt. I never realized how alone I was until that second. BT grabbed hold of my hand and rose. His face seemed calm, but his heart rate had doubled. His body was tense. Several people gathered round the cake, holding a tarp above it. Another group held the tarp above the presents. I had ruined my brother's wedding. I snatched BT's music. Something that beautiful had to be saved. BT, where do you think you're going? Tiffany yelled from the safety of the doorway. You kick my boyfriend out. You kick me out, BT said. Hand in hand, we went to the doorway. and entered the reception hall. My parents joined me. So did several other couples, including the older woman who looked like BT, and a man I assumed was her husband. Tiffany shrieked, "People are leaving. Stop. Don't go. Fraser and BT destroyed my perfect wedding. We're streaming. It's live. Everybody is going to see. Mommy, Daddy, Adam, do something." "Fraser, you will pay," Adam yelled. He ran over to me, fist raised, screaming. BT stepped in front of me, bracing himself for the attack. A burst of thunder exploded above. The downpour intensified. I would not let BT get hurt. I'm not normal. I timed Adam's attack and spun BT to safety. Adam's hand connected with my jaw. I stepped back. The rain exploded. The winds whipped against the walls. Someone screeched. Something woke inside me, something that wanted blood. I whispered no. Not to Adam, but the part of me that wanted to destroy. I took a breath, and as Adam's other hand tried to punch me, I grabbed his fist, pushed him back, then grabbed his tux and threw him into the chairs. "Don't touch me," I whispered, but it sounded louder than thunder. People backed away from me, even my own parents. Adam got up and stared at me, his eyes wide with terror. "Fraser, your eyes, they're red," Mom whimpered. "His teeth," Dad said. "Monster," Tiffany screamed. I ran my tongue across my teeth. Full fangs, claws had grown from my fingers. Rain drenched me. Years ago, the man that had attacked me looked like this. Red eyes, pale skin, fangs. I would not be like him. How would I explain this to anybody? I couldn't. I walked out of there to the stunned looks of BT, my parents, Adam, everybody who witnessed me. I'm not normal, and now everybody would see it on tonight's news. It took seconds to change into my jeans and hoodie and wrap the blanket around me like a cape. With the clouds and rains blocking the sun, I tried something I seldom did. I gathered the winds and darkness about me and flew into the sky and eventually home to my one-room eternally dark paradise and the blood packs waiting in the fridge. I was in the mood for something a little bitter, and A positive sounded good. Monday morning, I stopped off at the Black Market Blood Bank on my way home from work. It's expensive, but where else can people like me shop? I'm the top secret minority, one of me to nearly 1 million everybody else. Life was normal again, except I wasn't normal. I drank 3 blood packs last night, in addition to the others I had during the day. Expensive day. If I keep this up, I might even gain an ounce. The sun was peeking above the horizon. I needed to get inside, quick. I walked up the stairs to my place, the daytime exhaustion setting in. I didn't have long before I passed out. Somebody waited for me by my door. BT. "Hi," I said, a smile tickling the corners of my mouth. "How did you know where I lived?" "Your parents told me. They warned me how dark you keep the place. Mind if I come in?" BT asked. "I'll warn you, I'm about to pass out," I said. I unlocked the 5 deadbolts, quickly filled the stray cat food dishes, and then locked the door behind us. We went into my sanctuary, and I plugged in the Christmas lights and sat on the bed. I sensed the sun cresting the horizon. I wouldn't be conscious long. "You wouldn't believe the video. You didn't show up. Can you turn invisible? It looked like your brother lost it at me and hit me. From the angle of the camera, something pushed me out of the way." "By the way, Grandma thinks you're cute and wants to invite you for dinner," BT said. And the sun rose enough above the horizon to knock me out. I woke with a blanket tucked about me. That night, I didn't have to work. I cloaked the city in clouds, gathered the winds about me, and took to the skies. BT wasn't hard to track. I tasted his blood. He had a 3rd-floor apartment in a nice part of town. I landed on the balcony and knocked. BT answered. I held him tight and whispered, "Let's fly." And then I gathered the winds and the darkness about us, and we flew into the night. Have you ever kissed somebody while flying? It's something special. The end. Thank you for listening, everybody, and happy Halloween. Peace.